Namaskar. I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session. You're watching us on PM eVidya channels from 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. So today is day 1 of our online training program titled ICT for Teaching and Learning of Social Sciences. We all know that ICT has brought some kind of revolution in the educational sector and it has been used when it comes to teaching and learning of different subjects. And today we will focus specifically on social sciences, not just today but in this entire series. Yes, it's a 5-day, 5-hour training program where each day 1 hour between Monday to Friday and of course between 4 to 5 p.m. is dedicated to our online training program. This training program is organized by Central Institute of Educational Technology, New Delhi. You can also participate in the training session. There is going to be an assessment on the last day of the training session, that is on day 5, which is Friday, and we will tell you all the ways to register yourself and how you can participate in the assessment. If you score more than 70%, you'll be granted a certificate. All the details are provided on that website of ours, which we will show by the end of the session. And as I mentioned already, it's a 5-day, 5-hour training program, which means each day we will bring you different topic along with different guests who will talk on that specific theme. You can also participate in the session with your queries and suggestions. The topic for today, that is for day 1, is ICT for Teaching and Learning of Social Sciences, Policy Perspectives, Need and Scope. Why it is required and what are the challenges, and of course what all new things have come in when we have started using ICT for the teaching and learning of social sciences. We will talk in detail about it. And if you want to participate in the session, please feel free to get in touch with us. Our phone number is 8800440559. We also have a dedicated email ID for you, that is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. Last but not the least, we are streaming live on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. So please go to the comment section or live chat box, put in your questions there and get in touch with us instantly. Now, who has joined us today for the first day of this training program? We are joined by Dr. Tagaram Kondala Rao. Sir, namaskar and very warm welcome to the session.
Good evening, Simran.
Let me tell everybody out there that Sir is Associate Professor from Planning and Research Division of CIET NCERT New Delhi. And with Sir, we will take this conversation, this discussion forward. Now, Sir, today's topic is all about policy perspectives, need and scope. Now, before we delve deep into the topic, I request you to kindly share with us a brief overview of what exactly we are going to talk about in the session today.
So, once again, good evening audiences and you as well.
Thank you.
Today we'll be talking on heart of the topic is ICT for teaching and learning of social sciences, policy perspectives, need and scope.
Right.
As we all know that technology is only meant for science and mathematics.
Yeah.
So it's a myth. See, let me tell you something that which is very interesting. Applications of technology in the field of social science is very crucial and every day is growing up.
Yeah.
So today we will be deeply discussing about all these aspects and how the NCERT is leveraging technology for the enhancement of teaching learning process in the field of social sciences particularly. So
yes, sir, it is very interesting and you're absolutely right when you said that generally we associate ICT with the teaching and learning of science, maths or computer science.
Of course.
And social science is one subject which many find not really interesting, and because of that they do not develop an inclination towards the subject in the later stages of their student life also. But I think with the use of ICT we can grasp the concepts in a very catchy manner and we can make the subject quite interesting. But sir, before that I want to know first of all very basic questions, since we're going to talk about ICT. First of all, in general, why do we need technology basically to teach any kind of subject? What difference does it make to the teaching and learning of any subject, and particularly social sciences, since we are focusing on that and that's in this series?
See, technology is not a new thing for us. See, technology is everywhere and I can tell you technology is unlocked. The way it can be used, it's up to us. So, let me tell you something that people might have heard about the sustainable developmental goals.
Yeah.
So, goal number 4 is especially focusing on education.
Okay.
Rest of them is related to poverty reduction and technological sustainability. There are different as well. So, why technology is an important question that you have raised is the goal number 4 of sustainable developmental goals given by UNESCO, that is imparting equitable quality education and lifelong learning.
Okay.
So, I will tell you something about the country scenario of education. The fact is that we have 1.4 billion people in our country, which means if you convert it to crores, it is approximately 140 crore people in our country. Then when it comes to school education, we have 15 million schools, 15 lakh schools in our country, 1.5 million in terms of millions, I can say.
Yeah.
See, and if you see the school going children in our country is about 260 million, which means around 26 crore children. We have school going children in our country, and if you see the teacher strength in our country, which is around 9.8 million, which means around 1 crore, around 98 lakh. If you combine the teachers of higher educational institutions, it may go beyond 1 crore as well.
Right.
So, this is the biggest education system in our country we have. If you compare with other developed countries also, they do not have this much biggest educational system in our country, that we need to be proud of that. And at the same time, I need to tell you something about teacher education institutions as well.
Okay.
Because teacher education institutions are the key for school education or higher education, whatever it is, because entire build up is completely depends upon teacher educational institutions. They are around, we have 15,000 teacher educational institutions in our country. So, I mean to say that there are B.Ed colleges and DL.Ed colleges, B.Ed colleges. So, altogether we have 15,000 teacher educational institutions in our country. Now, the point is, why technology, that you have asked me interesting question.
Why technology?
That I will tell you.
Yes.
So, to reach up to 26 crore students is the biggest task itself.
Yeah.
See, now we are talking each other on phone,
yes,
which is a result of digital education. True. Or digital revolution, you can say that. Earlier the communication was completely different. In ancient periods of India, that the communication process was man to man communication process. Yeah. Through the changes, then it becomes man to machine communication.
Yes.
Nowadays we are using that same method of communication. We don't know, we can't say that future there could be machine to machine communication without human interference as well. So, the technology is growing very rapidly in recent times. So, and how can it be applied into the education? This is the main point that we need to focus on, because you cannot restrict learning in the 4 walls. What I mean to say that there is a school timings, there 8 to 2 p.m., 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. like that. But I do not think learning can be restricted in that time period. So, learning beyond the walls.
Absolutely.
I strongly believe that if you can see the trend of learning, earlier people used to sit in the library and take the physical books and read it out, then understand, then they take exams. Nowadays, I do not think people have much time to go into the library to pick up a book and sitting in the library or taking it to the home, reading the material and taking the exams. People do not have time today. So, technology, technology is cutting all these barriers. So, technology, I mean to say, is it is a game changer, you can say. Yes. It as in the field of education as well.
Now, sir, you very correctly mentioned that, of course, with such a huge population, so much of diversity, education can't be restricted to 4 walls. We cannot confine it in in some space, a physical space, and that is why we have to make education accessible to all. With this goal, we need to use technology. But I'm sure with the growing technology, we are also facing some challenges.
Yes, of course.
So what are those challenges and how are we managing to overcome them?
See, India is, as you mentioned, we have a diversified culture.
Yes.
We have different languages.
True.
It is believed that we have more than 1600 plus languages in our country.
Yes.
And it is also believed that every 2.5 kilometers radius, everything changes in our country.
Yeah.
So, tradition, culture, eating habits, drinking habits, and language, slang and all, accent.
Yes.
So everything, I sometimes feel, that is, heritage of our country.
True.
And we should be proud of that. So at the same time, technology, creating some gaps, because technology, if you see some, corner villages in the country, they might not be accessing the technology. There, the children having complete access to technology and the children not having complete access to technology, there is a difference between
Yes.
these two children groups.
True.
So there the gap is being created. So technology, as the technology advances, this gap is being increased, and again the solution is also giving by the technology. That is what we will be talking today.
Absolutely. And after knowing that how technology is indispensable when it comes to making education available at the doorstep of the children, or if we talk about inclusive education today, or inclusivity, equity in education, we have to make use of ICT. That is a said thing. Now, if we talk about, or if we look at the historical perspective of ICT in India, then what's your take on that and how do you look at it? Also, what is the present status of digital accessibility in Indian schools? Because we see that there are schools in far-flung areas of the country, in rural areas, where for students going to school every day is also a challenge. Then we also know that internet is not fully available, accessible everywhere. Then how do you look at the situation at present?
Let me tell you first about the technological revolution in our country.
Okay.
So, as I said in the beginning itself, technology is not new for us. We have great technological tech giants from our country as well.
Yeah.
So, to be specific, ICT earlier it used to be called as educational technology. Now, new terminology coming into the picture, and we accordingly, changing our terminology as well.
Yes.
So, educational technology scheme has been started way back in 1972,
Okay.
which was aimed to introduce technological interventions to the teachers. So, there we have started the educational technology scheme. Then we move on to Indian satellites for educational purposes in 1983. Then 1984 there was a project called CLASS, which means computer literacy and studies in schools. So, which was aimed at providing computer education to the students and provide training related to educational technology in the teachers as well.
Right.
So, later we all know that National Education Policy 1968 came into existence. There were some mentions about educational technology in that scheme as well.
Okay.
Then we moved to 1986 policy, which is the important thing in our country to be introduced. There a lot of things have been mentioned in 1986 education policy.
Okay.
Then there was a little focus on educational technology in 1986 policy as well.
Okay.
Later we have moved to program of action, that was in 1992.
Okay.
In order to successfully implement whatever the policy that have been made in 1986. So, later we moved to educational satellite channels have been launched for educational purposes, and in 2004 it was the landmark in our education system, because education ICT syllabus has been introduced in schools in our country in 2004. Later on in 2010, the ICT curriculum has been revised, then giving national awards for ICT have been introduced
Okay.
in 2010, but it has been called off in 2017-18. Then in 2012 there was a ICT policy that was made for ethical purposes of ICT use. Then in 2013 we all know that a national repository for educational resources have been developed, aligning with that ICT curriculum have been framed. Then in 2015 we all know that a Digital India campaign has been started, because that was the time where people and government of India has realized that there was digital divide is being created.
Okay.
In order to reduce that gap, the Digital India campaign has been started. Apart from that, we have also started e-Pathshala and e-PG Pathshala as well in 2015. Then in 2017, this is one of the things that I would like to focus on, because the formal education system, it was okay, but apart from that, to improve learning, we need to follow some online courses, like you might have heard about Coursera. There the online courses will be provided and they are being run. In 2017, government took an initiative to start MOOCs courses on Swayam, that is MOOCs on the MOOCs portal. NCERT nowadays, till today, I think 28 courses in 11 languages are being run by NCERT for +1 and +2 students,
Okay.
that is 11th class and 12th class students. And at the same time, Swayam Prabha courses have been Swayam Prabha channels have started, D2H channels have started, Diksha, which is the one nation one digital platform, you all know that,
Yeah.
a digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing, for disseminating, delivering e-content in different formats, not only PDF, but also audio educational programs, video educational programs, even in Indian Sign Language program also included in Diksha platform for reaching up to last mile students. So,
Yeah.
you can see the inclusive policy in NCERT initiatives. Then in 2018, earlier it was Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan started way back in 2005. Then in Rashtriya Madhyamika Shiksha Abhiyan started, and these schemes have been merged. Nowadays we are calling it as Samagra Shiksha scheme,
Okay.
which is a merger of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Madhyamika Shiksha Abhiyan and teacher education. So, that merger took place in 2018. Government is spending each and every funding from this Samagra Shiksha scheme only. Then in 2019, it was realized that digital literacy and digital skills were needed for the teachers. So, because of technological advancements, again I am saying, teachers should be updated themselves to cope up with the regular classroom. So, otherwise you can I will tell you that you should be master of technology, not to slave. So, to master, to train, to develop those technological skills, NISTA program initiated for school teachers and heads holistic development. There are different courses for different courses for different section of teachers, and in different levels as well, level 1, level 2, like that, based on difficulty level. Then in 2020 to 24, we all know that on 29th July 2020, the major milestone we have reached in the form of launching National Education Policy 2020, and Pragyata guidelines were made in order to keep some key points in mind for developing e-content as well. Then NCF National Curriculum Framework for Foundational Stage 2022, National Curriculum Framework for School Education 2023. They are all, you all know that. In addition to that, Vidya Samiksha Kendra, which is, you know, giving beautiful insights for data driven decision making. They already took place in between 2020 to 24.
Well, after reviewing everything that you have mentioned just now, the year-wise data, of course, we can rightly say so that technology has always been with us, and of course, National Education Policy 2020, it is not only focusing on the higher class education, but also it is looking at the foundational stage, and we have done a lot of work for it as well. So, you also mentioned this word digital divide.
Yes.
A very important term it is. So, I would request to kindly elaborate this term for all of us, that what exactly do we mean by digital divide and how can it be bridged? And is there some more data so that you would like to share with us before we go for the digital divide thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll show you some data which is related to school data.
Okay.
That data has been collected in different schools in all the states. Class wise. In the sample, classes of 3rd, 5th, 8th and 10th class students were involved.
Okay.
See, I will give you that data which shows that digital access in terms of mobile, access to mobile. The children that we are, the data it shows that in the 37 states and UTs, particularly if you talk about the mobile accessibility, the state of Kerala is having highest accessibility to mobiles as the data reveals. When we ask the students for 3rd class, 94% students having mobile accessibility.
Okay.
It is the highest in the country. And when it comes to lowest, Bihar shows less number of accessibility, mobile accessibility. Then when it comes to 5th class, again I would say Kerala. Kerala is 95% of the students responded, they are having mobile accessibility at 5th class level. Then again the bottom line goes to Bihar because 55 students only having access to mobiles. Then when asked to 8th class students, it was surprisingly Chandigarh has the maximum mobile accessibility in terms of 77%, but not too far from Kerala. Kerala stands at 76%, only 1% margin. Then when it comes to 10th class students, 97% of the students having accessibility to mobiles in Kerala, whereas again Bihar stands low with 68%. This is there you can see number of variations. Some states having 60%, some states having 70% mobile accessibility, some states 80. So there you can see the difference, the range you can see 95 to 52. There is approximately 42. This is the biggest margin. You believe that? Biggest margin. So as learning gaps, because each and every device has some capabilities. For example, if you talk about mobile capabilities, having iPhone is completely completely different from Android version, because it has lot of quality. You can see the picture quality, audio quality, in each and every aspect. Apple phones have got immense capabilities. So it depends upon internet access. People having high quality devices, high resolution cameras will be able to download the high quality videos.
True.
So the learning is. Obviously people having low quality devices, there some students, even in my phone, sometimes I feel it difficult to upload one attachment in the email. So that's because of mobile capabilities.
Yes.
So there you can there the digital gaps creating learning gaps.
Well, it is astonishing, I must say, that we are not talking here about the people who have it and those who don't have it. It is about that what kind of device you possess, what are its capabilities, and what kind of quality you are getting as far as the content is concerned, audio video content is concerned. So, like this is, I would say it's quite astonishing. And are there ways to basically bridge this gap?
Yes, there are ways. Let me before going into that, I would just like to focus on some key factors
Okay.
on digital divide.
Sure.
The first one is accessibility. It depends upon internet connectivity.
Yeah.
Because the people living in far more corner villages in the country, they do not have, you know, accessibility, quality access to the devices or internet, whatever it is.
Yes.
So again, it depends upon the affordability.
True.
See, nowadays, you know, mobile companies, you know, network companies, they are providing some schemes, 1 GB data, 2 GB data, and having Wi-Fi and LAN is also one of the factor. If you have LAN connection, then you might be having, you know, quality accessibility.
Yes.
If you are connected to Wi-Fi, there could be, you know, some interruptions. So that is also one of the factor that creating a digital divide. I was talking about affordability.
Yeah.
So everyone cannot, you know, buy an iPhone.
True.
Because that design, the specification, capabilities of that device entirely different, right? So so affordability again one of the factor. Then comes to equity, because affordability, again accessibility, creating equity. Equity is equity and equality, both are different things.
Okay.
Equality in the sense everyone is common,
same page.
everyone is equal.
Okay.
But I'll give you a simple example that one person is having, you know, much hunger, who can eat 10 rotis, but one is having, you know, less hunger, who can eat only 2 or 3 chapatis.
Okay.
Then you are giving 5 chapatis or rotis, we are distributing it equally.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yes.
And if you follow the equity, the person who needed 10 chapatis should be served according to their level.
So customizing
Yes,
that
yes,
stuff as per the needs
exactly.
and requirements is equity.
Exactly. So this is the reason why equity, you know, technological distribution in our country is not equal, is not equity as well. So that is the reason why, you know, digital divide is being created. And the third one, the fourth point is accountability.
Okay.
The people, you know, having, see, ethics that we always talk about related to technology is not in the hands of technology, it is in hands of us who are using it. So if you are accountable, use cautiously, up to what extent it is not necessary, these things should be kept in mind.
Yes.
Otherwise it can create lot of digital divide as well.
Right.
Then only we will be able to reach quality education.
That's the ultimate goal.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And I think there are ways to basically bridge this gap, as you said, you know, these are the key factors, and if we follow them, then definitely we can have we can bridge the gap, and not only this, we can reach our goal of ultimately having quality education to students coming from all the stratas of life. So there will be no such difference, that I would say that there will be equity, you know, then we will be following the principle of equity. Now, sir, National Education Policy 2020, as you mentioned a while ago, that definitely it has played an important role in transforming the entire, I would say, the face of education in today's scenario, because we are encouraging schools and entire education system to use ICT as much as we can, and not only for the teaching and learning of certain subjects or some abstract concepts, but in each and every subject. Now, how do you think that NEP 2020 is focusing on technology integration? Because again, we have diversity, we have so many mother tongues, then we have some dialects as well, then capability and grasping power of each child is different. So how it is catering to all these needs?
Yes, I will explain you. Let me tell you how to bridge that digital divide.
Yeah.
So NCERT, under the aegis of Ministry of Education, took an initiative called PME Vidya, it is the quintessential for bridging the digital divide. Under this, 200 D2H TV channels were provided for the states. Each and every state has been given 10 channels, sorry, 5 channels. Manipur has got 10 channels. And apart from states, union territories have been given only one channel for delivering the educational content, but Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir have got 5 channels each. So,
again, as per the needs and requirements and language.
Yes, yes, yes. The point here I wanted to make is we are committed to provide education where the digital divide is existing. We are trying to bridge that gap using TV channels, D2H channels. You just need to have a set-top box and education will reach to your doorstep.
Yes.
So, this is the way that Government of India is committed to provide education irrespective of internet accessibility.
True. And it started during the times of COVID only.
Yes, yes.
Because of course not, as you mentioned, not everybody can afford IoT devices or digital devices.
Yes.
And PM Vidya channel is one such great initiative. In fact, we are streaming live on PM Vidya channels only. Right.
Now, we will talk about something more on the policy directions.
Yes.
How, what guidelines have been given by our policy related to, technology integration. There are a few chapters which is related to ICT integration.
Okay.
The chapter number 23 specifically focuses on technology use and integration. There many things have been talked. So, let me tell you one interesting thing, that the policy came into the peak level during the COVID era.
Okay.
There that COVID era has opened the gates for technology. So, that is the reason why much focus has been shifted to technology.
True.
Right. So,
because that was the need of the hour
yes,
then.
yes. That is the reason why much importance has been given to technology integration. Right. In the 23rd chapter of NEP 2020, there were mentions about machine learning, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, virtual reality, simulations, gaming. These are all the things that we implement in the classroom to make effective engagement classroom. Then the learning outcomes likely to improve. That is the reason why NEP 2020 mentioned about cutting edge technologies, emerging technologies. And there were one more thing policy mentions about is National Educational Technology Forum.
Okay.
So, which could be the central point to connect school education to higher education through technology. So, Professor Anil Sahasrabudhe is the chairman of that National Educational Technology Forum. He is also AICT chairman. So, he is leading that. And few things mentioned related to integration of online platforms to make learning better, to reach last mile students like Diksha, Swayam, because Diksha has got lot of around 3.66 lakhs of content available in Diksha platform. So, the point is it should reach to the last mile student. There are you can see there are single teacher schools in our country, right. So, it would be Diksha would be helpful for them.
True.
They can easily access the content whatever available there on the Diksha, not only in the form of PDFs that I have already talked. The content is also available in the video educational programs. They can access it and they can easily, if they want to watch that videos, they can go for 3 times or 4 times till they understand the subject matter.
Absolutely.
So, there are technological interventions that have been mentioned in the policy as well. There are special focus on inclusion, which is the cornerstone of our society.
Yeah.
So, e-content for Divyang student has been focused. So, PME Vidya channel, you all know that I started a channel for providing educational content to those children who are disabled. Channel number 31, I think.
Yes, yes.
Right. So, moving forward, what technological interventions have been suggested in the NEP 2020 is teaching learning evaluation, how teaching learning should be in the classroom with the help of integration of technology,
yeah.
and assessment. There are different applications that I can say. See, for social science, Bhuvan application is there,
Okay.
and Google Earth, which is the application that is beneficial for social science as well. If you talk about assessment, there are various online assessment tools as well, various LMS as well, like
LMS
you might have heard
stands-
about learning management systems,
Okay.
where you can have a closed system, you can upload assignments, they will return to you, like Google Classroom, right. So if you talk particularly about assessment, there are tools like Kahoot, there are tools like quizzes, there are tools like Mentimeter. So these are all,
Yeah.
a teacher should aware of all these tools, because then only they will be able to implement in the classroom, then classroom can be effective. And enhancing educational access through internet or D2H channels, that could be. And the third point that I would like to talk is Divyang students, that I have already talked about. Then removing language barriers, that I would say now. Language is the biggest barrier in our country,
Yeah.
right. So we have technological applications. Let me tell you one thing, that when I was using Google Translate in 2010 from English to Hindi, it was very horrible Hindi. Nowadays much improvement.
But again,
has
there are
got.
chances of errors
Yes,
even today.
Yes. We have Anuvadini tool, we have Bhashini tool. So technology, cutting the language barriers as well, and that's how the technology plays a crucial role, right. Then for teacher development, teachers professional development, we have started NISTA courses, and there around, you believe or not, around 65 lakh teachers have been trained under NISTA program. And in this way, that is not only related to other kinds of things, but also in the domain of ICT.
Right.
So this is about, recently you all know that Rashtriya Vidya Samiksha Kendra, using for educational administration purposes as well. So that's it. And I'll speak something about chapter number 24, because which it is also related to ICT integration,
Okay.
which says that online and digital education ensuring equitable use of technology. There are different policies suggest that we should conduct some pilot studies, research studies, to see the effect of technology in learning outcomes. So that we have already initiated digital infrastructure. Under Samagri Shiksha, all the schools have been provided ICT infrastructure as well as smart classrooms, and online teaching platforms like Diksha, Swayam, ePathshala, they are already in place. Then we talk about content creation, which is most important backbone of our educational system. Then only it will be possible for us to disseminate everywhere in the country. And addressing digital divide, that we have already talked, right. Then standards, we need to maintain some standards. For example, we have developed some guidelines for cyber safety security, and Pragyata guidelines were made, and cyber how e-content should be developed. There are some guidelines we have developed. So and talking, it also suggested blended learning approaches, mix of online and offline modes of learning. Online assessments like Parak, NTA, these are all the things that are focused, because the NTA is already using online platform for assessment. They are computer based tests. So that is a perfect example for online assessment as well. So this is a you all know that Diksha has many content. We have energized textbooks, assessment questions, we use infographics, courses, ISL videos, they are all available freely to the children in our country.
That's right.
Right. Then You all know that Phygital, the term is being used
But
nowadays.
it's quite a unique term, like
Yes,
from
yes,
where
yes.
it has arrived, like Phygital.
NEP 2020 has given
Okay.
lot of literature. It is one of them.
Okay.
Right? It's a mixture of physical as well as digital.
All right.
Now we have a textbook which is physical. You have a mobile that is digital, right? All NCERT textbook are integrated with QR code.
Okay.
Taking physical book and with the help of digital divide, you scan it, then it becomes physical.
Right.
The entire content which is there in the particular chapter, that can be downloaded. So I would like to take it to some technological advancements like augmented reality and virtual reality, then VR labs.
These are quite interesting.
Right.
Like if you can just give us a brief description of what these are, AR, VR and virtual labs, if you can just give
So
small
there are differences. AR, augmented reality, you need to connect with the physical world, real world, then only it will work.
Okay.
Whatever the content in that that are there in the application, that can be accessed through physical world only. Then when it comes to virtual reality, you need to have a headset which is having control panels. There are different VR companies are existing. So some are having remote buttons, some are having control panels. Then when it comes to VR labs, in our CIET also we have around 287 VR labs. Where the physical laboratory is not possible. Children can watch the simulations, can watch the videos. Through navigation, they can experience how the experiment could be conducted.
Right.
So real experiential learning takes place through these technologies.
All right.
Right.
So, I mean, we have covered a lot about these, and I think there is another important, with so many other things also happening. You talked about Nishtha, but we also have something called Jaadui Pitara, which is again a very beautiful initiative, and we have been conducting sessions on Jaadui Pitara on PME Vidya only. If you would like to talk more about it.
Sure, Simran, sure. Jaadui Pitara is made, it's a kind of treasure trove, right? Treasure trove which is having lot of NCERT content. There is AI-powered chatbots in it called Katha Sakhi, Teacher Tara and Student Tara. It is meant for foundational learning and numeracy. If you want to listen a story, you just and one more important thing is it is available in 14 languages in mobile application, right? So if you want to listen Thirsty Crow story, you just select the language option, then ask the bot Katha Sakhi, then it will reply you. And the beautiful thing in that is it will give you reference as well. So that is the thing the NCERT and the Ministry of Education is catering educational needs through technology.
Right. Now, sir, very quickly I would like to ask you that we have been talking about teaching learning, but assessment is another important part of the teaching learning process. Unless and until we are able to assess the student and of course measure the difficulty level or the grasping power of the student, we won't be able to go ahead and increase the difficulty level. Now, how it is done using ICT? Please explain it to us because we are left with a few more minutes.
You might have heard about PAL, personalized adaptive learning. It is completely based on the psychological principles. Because every student is unique. The speed of learning is unique. Their pace of learning is completely different from others. So if you have a digital divide, according to their speed of learning, they move forward. Then they stop. Then if they want to recheck, they will come back and have a go, look at back and things can learn better. So that is the reason why in Diksha we are trying to integrate PAL, personalized adaptive learning. And one more thing, if you are giving an exam, some assignment to the students, you just simply use the Google Classroom. You upload the your assignment in the student domain, then give some time, then they will make their answers and they will return it to you. And you can there is a grading system in Google Classroom.
Instant feedback can be given.
Yes, of course. On there are grade sheets nowadays. There are AI tools are also existing into the grading system immediately. So earlier we used to take exam in the month of May and we used to get the results in the month of October. So, no, not nowadays.
Well, not happening now, because now we
yes.
are in the ICT mode. And sir, now we are left with like few more minutes. So I'm sure that you would like to show us a demonstration.
Yes, yes.
And there's this important application that you would be using through your mobile phone. So please elaborate on that.
Sure, sure.
And
now I'll explain
okay.
about AR application in social science, how it can be used.
Okay.
So, as I said in the beginning, it needs physical world. Let me try.
Sure. So here we can see on the screen that there are different activities. I can see this activity of the pyramid, right? And you're scanning something, sir.
Yes, that is related to physical world, as I said in the beginning.
Okay.
Now you can see the clear picture of pyramid.
Oh wow, that is lovely. So
See,
that remains today is, how were the pyramids built? Most agree that the pyramids were carved from limestone quarries. The large blocks of limestone were somehow transported and then lifted into position. There are many theories as to how the Egyptians moved and placed these large and extremely heavy stones. Some theories are built on years of scientific research. Yet there are also unusual theories that involve aliens and the lost city of Atlantis. These theories have been widely rejected by scientists and historians alike. One commonly accepted idea is the ram theory. This theory suggests Egyptians used sheer power to transport stones across the desert with sleds and ropes. Once the stones arrived at the site, they used rams to drag the stones and lift them into place. Another idea is the limestone concrete theory. It suggests the pyramids were made of an early form of concrete. Stones were created. This is the ramp theory. Step 1. Ancient Egyptians set a ramp at a quarry at a 20% incline or more. Next, they pulled the
Yes.
stones out of the quarry
So I
and up
think
the
this is
ramp.
incredible.
Then they placed the stone on a wooden
I
sled.
request you to kindly mute the audio, sir.
Using the ropes, they pulled the stones across the desert on the sledge. As they moved, they poured water over the sand to help the stones slide. Step 3. They built another dirt ramp at a 20% incline and set the wooden posts deep into the ground along the ramp. Step 4. They dragged the sledge up the ramp using a pulley system to the top of the pyramid, then put the stone in place.
Now I think we can also increase and decrease the size as per the requirement.
yes, yes, of course.
Right. So sir, now I request you to kindly mute the audio, and it is incredible. Of course, this is the real example of Phygital that I'm seeing in front of me, and that's what we call augmented reality. So you gave a perfect example, and you know, while you were performing this activity using your mobile phone, it reminded me of some educational programs that were based on history that I used to watch on some educational and entertainment channels. So that was really wonderful. And now, sir, I have to conclude my session over here.
1 minute, if you could give me 1 minute,
yeah, sure.
I'll finish it off.
Any concluding remarks for sure?
Yes, yes. The technology, as I said in the beginning, not only meant for science and mathematics. See, there are many things you cannot, really observe.
True.
For example, if you see the equatorial region, which is based on imaginary lines,
Yes.
those things, can be expressed through virtual reality. And solar system, you can say simple example. See,
Yeah.
solar system, how the planets, how they are moving around. These things, Simran, they are beautifully explained through virtual reality or augmented reality, where why I am saying is the shift of NEP 20 is rote memory to experiential learning. So, without understanding the abstract concepts, children cannot move further.
Yes.
So, the concept of education,
Yeah.
how it is changing from time to time. So, until or unless you provide visualization techniques, it's not possible for them to understand. So, there the integration of technology comes into the picture and make effective learning for sure.
Absolutely. Effective learning is the key word. So, thank you so much, Dr. Rao, for your contribution to the session. It was very beneficial and very fruitful, and I would say with lots of information. I learned a lot, and I was amazed to see that there are so many things and so many guidelines in place when it comes to teaching and learning of social sciences, and of course making the use of ICT for the same. So viewers, this was our session of day 1, where we talked about ICT for teaching and learning of social sciences, policy perspective, need and scope under the umbrella theme of ICT for teaching and learning of social sciences. Now, as I promised in the beginning of the session, that I will tell you all the ways through which you can register yourself and participate in the assessment on the last day of the session. So please have a look at our website, and it's right there on your screen. This is our CIT website as usual, cit.ncert.gov.in. You have to go to the activities section, click on the workshop and training option, and you will land up on this page. When you will scroll down, you will see online training on ICT for teaching and learning of social sciences. This is the current activity that is going on. On this page, you will find the entire write-up for the training program, day-wise schedule. Of course, today we talked about, as I said, ICT for teaching and learning of social sciences, policy perspectives, need and scope. Tomorrow on day 2, we will be talking about audio and video resources for the teaching and learning of social sciences. Here you will find the objectives of the session, and everybody can participate in the session. This is the entire program schedule along with the name of the experts who are throwing the light on the topic and sharing some useful insights with us. And here we will also upload the videos at the end of the day. Now, the most important part, how to participate. There are few steps that you need to follow. Step 1, you need to register yourself. Click on the link or scan the QR code. Then we have step 2, which means that you have to watch all our sessions attentively, that is streaming on these platforms. Step 3 is all about participating in the assessment on the last day, that is on day 5, and here are the guidelines that you need to go through before you attempt the assessment. If you score more than 70%, you will be granted a certificate that you can download from Diksha portal. Last but not the least, by the end of the training session, you can submit your feedback with us, and just submit the feedback to us using this QR code or clicking on the link. It is very important for us to know that how we fared and what all shortcomings were there, so that we can improve upon our training sessions and include newer content for you. And on an everyday basis, whenever we are conducting sessions for you, you can always give us a call on this number, and simultaneously you can reach out to us with your queries, suggestions and feedback on training.helpdesk@cit.nic.in. That's our email ID. Now, with this, I'm closing today's training session of day 1, and now it's time for me to share an important update with all of you. We hope that you are enjoying our program Pariksha Pe Charcha 2025 with Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, and we are excited to announce that this year's edition brings a fresh perspective with 7 upcoming episodes featuring distinguished personalities across various fields. Now, these sessions, they cover essential topics including mental health, technology and finance, nutrition and mindfulness, aimed at guiding students in their journey of learning and personal growth. So, we request you to kindly tune in from 12th to 18th of February 2025 at 10 a.m. live on Doordarshan channels, and don't miss out on these valuable insights that are being shared with you by the experts. We also have a related video for you. Let's watch the video.
परीक्षा पे चर्चा के 8th एडिशन के नए अंदाज में हो चुकी है शुरुआत। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने स्टूडेंट्स को दिए एग्जाम और लाइफ से जुड़े वैल्यूएबल टिप्स। आगे इस चर्चा से जुड़ेंगे अलग अलग फील्ड के एक्सपर्ट्स जैसे दीपिका पादुकोण, मैरी कॉम, फूड फार्मर, सदगुरु इत्यादि, जो 7 नए एपिसोड्स में एडवाइस देंगे मेंटल हेल्थ, न्यूट्रिशन एंड वेलबींग के बारे में। तो देखना ना भूलें 12 फरवरी से रोज सुबह 10 बजे डीडी न्यूज और नरेंद्र मोदी यूट्यूब चैनल पर।
Well, I'm sure that you will love the content that is being presented on Pariksha Pe Charcha. And now it's time for me to give you the list of content that we have shown you throughout the day. So here is a look at the program schedule, all the programs that you have been watching and will watch in a short while. So this is the list of programs. Here is the entire schedule. You can watch all these programs on our YouTube channel NCERT Official. We are through with our online training session for day 1, and in a short while from now you can watch our session Sahyog The topic is going to be Path to Success, Building Effective Study Habits. With this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you. Namaskar.